Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet franchise, Paulson TV show, Frozen, Singing Up the Marrow, and more. You are watching Gory Storytime with Jason and Craig. Or is it Craig and Jason? You're Craig?
Why is sex with her husband so boring to the main character?
Why is the mother-in-law breastfeeding her husband?
Why would this movie only show unattractive and damaged boobs?
All this and more on this week's Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and quickly to answer those questions that we started with, because he's awful, because she's awful, and there's no damn excuse.
Accurate.
Anyway,
Okay, so on this episode of Gory Storytime, we are doing the second in our group of Adam Green movies.
now, he did not write or direct this one, he produced it, but we didn't want to just do Hatchet, Hatchet 2, Hatchet 3, and
Victor Crowley.
Victor Crowley, because it would have been
First
easy
of all,
to
they're
do.
not all available to us.
Well, they are, just not for free.
Right. So no.
But it's still in the family of Adam Green, who was the guy that did the opening for us, and we're going to use that. This is the second time. We're going to use that
As many times as we can.
At least 4 times, and then in the future, when we do some more sequels, we'll probably do like a Hatchet 2 and bring it back for that, because why not?
Because we're going to keep beating the dead horse until it
Oh,
stops spitting up puke.
That's not quite how you...
Yeah, but we certainly don't make money.
No. That's not true. But
Oh, I
first,
forgot.
but first, let's give a basic rundown of what the plot line is. So there's this woman
Who's trying to get pregnant.
She's trying to get pregnant. Her in-laws are obnoxious, specifically the mother-in-law.
Yes.
Just really obnoxious, really overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you almost expect her to, like, cackle and have
I
her
do.
winged monkeys attack her.
I
Like, she's...
see it.
Yeah, she's so awful. Like, ridiculous levels. It really is. And then she gets pregnant, and then her husband and her get into an accident while she's pregnant, and the baby dies. The husband dies. The baby
he's all the way dead.
dies. So the baby is alive throughout, but is it? Is it a baby anymore? Zombie is basically what we're dealing with here.
Oh, yeah, all the way.
I'll say zombie.
That's what we're
So
going to stick with them.
yeah. So before we get into too much more, why don't we show the trailer?
I'm going to see a midwife.
There's a reason people have babies in hospitals.
We're just checking it out.
Anybody breaks out a power crystal, we're leaving.
Tia.
Keep the focus on you and your baby.
It's beautiful.
The less this place looks like a hospital, the better.
Maybe you should just pull over.
Where?
Please. She isn't moving.
Baby's descended. You're doing great, Madeline.
After the accident, she told us the baby was dead.
Stay. Madeline, you can't will a baby back to life.
It's Grace. Her name is Grace. The stars in heaven, tucked in the sun, and each little flower knows this day is done.
Madeline, I know that you do not want to take her to the hospital, but there are some tests that can help us understand.
We're not a case study. Please, honey.
That baby is sick.
You don't understand. She's special. She needs special food.
Vivian.
God, Madeline, you look terrible.
Madeline? I'm just feeding the baby.
All right. So that it's funny when we were looking to watch it on demand, it had an option of play trailer.
And
Didn't
the trailer
have a
was
trailer.
just the
It just
like,
played
second
like
scene of the
yeah,
movie.
exactly. So I'm glad that there was an actual trailer to play instead of just a full-on scene because you know.
That 12-minute trailer.
Now,
what it felt like.
before we get into, and it definitely showed a lot, like you were noticing while we were just watching it, it gave away a lot. But before we get into the behind the scenes info, which we don't have a hell of a lot anyway, you said that we don't get paid for this. You lied. We
Yeah.
get fat stacks of cash from doing these reads for actual products that exist and pay us. They just have the Brinks truck back up to our apartment, which obviously is an oxymoron with the whole Brinks truck of money, so that we can advertise these products and services.
Swimming in it like Scrooge McDuck.
That's what I'm saying. Except he is swimming in a lot of coins, and that seems painful. So this week, the show is brought to you by, let's see, Gory Story Time is brought to you by Green Family Farms Breast Milk Ice Cream. Why in these woke days are we still drinking milk from other animals? At Green's Family Farms, we make our dairy products from 100% human breast milk. From milk and cheese to butter and yogurt, you'll taste the human difference. Now, Green Family Farms is proud to announce our breast milk ice cream, available in great flavors like strawberry, chocolate nip cookie dough, green tea, Napoleon, and more. We also use recycled glass containers, so Green Family Farms breast milk ice cream says, buy a couple of jugs today.
Okay. And by the Slightly Used app. Are you a single mother and a needy? Are you a single mother and need a daddy to help raise your children? Want a moral man who can look past the past the fact you had a child out of wedlock, or maybe you were married and the father passed away and needs someone to fill all the holes his death left unfilled. Then try the Slightly Used app. Because you have kids, and that means you'll do anything for companionship. Seriously, anything. Anything you can think of. Look, let's not beat around the bush. We're talking about butt stuff. The Slightly Used app. Download today.
All right. Is there anything else we should say before we get into
I
all of our
highly
behind the
recommend
scenes?
this.
Well, I'm going to try to have this be as clean as possible because we've been swearing a lot the last few episodes and stuff. Let's not do that because we're already talking about this topic. And there was an ad for breast milk ice cream.
This movie was oddly, this is the thing I'm going to bring up. Oddly, yet not oddly, reminiscent of two other movies that we've recently watched. Rosemary's Baby.
I can see the
And
comparison.
Goodnight Mommy.
Yes and no. Except in that, it was
Yes,
the mom that was...
It's different,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
It was oddly similar in my opinion.
I don't see that one as much, but you commented that it reminded you of Rosemary's Baby. It was almost like what happened after the birth of the baby.
Oh yeah.
Which they already had a movie. It was called What Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought there was like a second Rosemary's Baby. I thought just
Basically,
everyone called it trash.
Spiritually, What Happened to Baby Jane was
like
a spiritual sequel, if not a direct sequel to Rosemary's Baby. But, well...
Either way.
Yeah. That's not what we're here to discuss. We should be talking about Grace.
Grace.
Let's give some behind-the-scenes type stuff here.
Turned into a feature after Paul Solitz's 2006 short film of the same name, starring Brian Austin Green, and Liza Whale, generated positive buzz and awards.
Gabrielle Rose won the 2009 Frightmaster Award for Best Supporting Actress. Oh yeah, award for her Best Supporting Actress for her performance. I hate when they word things all weird.
The Matheson family is named for author Richard Matheson, who is most famous for his vampire novel, I Am Legend.
His what?
Vampire novel.
His
Unlike
what?
the movie that is...
Based on the novel about vampires.
Yes,
all right. Look at that.
Like The Deathly Hallows is based on the book, but nothing fucking like it.
What?
Yeah. Those movies were not like the books, and I'm told that very deeply by
Which
everybody.
one of the Harry Potter books have you read?
The first one, actually. I did read the first one. Sorcerer's Stone?
Yeah, you read, the cover where it said the name.
Nah. Okay.
The family cat is named Jonesy, most likely after the cat in Alien. I love that that's a fact. Most likely, or it's a coincidence, or random, or...
It's Jonesy.
There's a good chance that was why, maybe.
But no one knows.
I love that that's a fact.
Yeah.
It definitely could have been.
Could have. Also couldn't. It could possibly not have been.
Anyway.
Adam Green, horror director of Hatchet, we did last week, is in the supermarket scene as the employee selling meat. He is the producer of this film.
He was a male prostitute?
That's what I heard.
He was selling meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And on to...
Hold on. There wasn't a lot of behind-the-scenes information on this one, so we went with some spoilery errors and, grave mistakes. Which originally, if you watched the second episode of this show ever, it was actually mistakes we had made in the first one.
But now it's whenever there's a mistake at all, us or them or anybody.
Oh, we don't make mistakes anymore. Yeah, right. Sure. Yes. The audience didn't get to see that finger.
Oh.
Anyway, and one of the final... Oh, it's your turn.
Yes. In one of the final scenes...
No, you just did that one, you dingus.
That's why I said I ordered it weird, so just do that one.
Okay. When Madeline is shown brewing her tea in the strainer and suddenly drops it, you hear the sound. In the next shot, a second later, she drops the chain.
Okay. In one of the final scenes, Vivian?
It's supposed to be Vivian, I think.
Yeah. Hits Madeline in the forehead with a hammer. Madeline is seen on the floor with a cut over her right eye with a fair amount of blood. Vivian then leans towards her to see if she is all right, but there is no more blood on her forehead. When Madeline bites Vivian, the blood returns. Huh.
Okay. In the scene in which the main character takes the trash out, I love that I know what scene they're talking about, but that just seems random. In the scene where someone's doing household chores,
Yes.
she turns to walk back into the house, and a crew member can be seen quite easily viewing a monitor in a dark doorway in the house. I didn't
notice it. Whatever. After Madeline kills the doctor, she drains
Spoiler.
copious amounts of blood from his arm into a bottle for Grace. Even if the blood were still warm in his body, it would not flow as freely as much as is shown without a heartbeat. Blood flow stops. Also, the doctor has already lost a lot of blood through his head wound before Madeline makes the incision on his arm, and he's lying on a cold bathroom tile floor, making the amount of blood Madeline gets from him even more unrealistic.
Hold on. So, this is a movie in which a baby dies from a car crash in utero and gets loved back to zombie life. And
First
then
of all,
drinks
you have
blood
to buy
through,
into...
Hold on. Drinks blood through breastfeeding and wants to eat flesh. And your problem is there's too much blood pumping from the dead body. That's like watching, and I'm not going to say who this was. If you go back, you could probably find this out in the archives of things I've done on this station. I've probably talked about it on Daddy Issues and this show before.
Probably, yeah.
But that would be like watching, you know where I'm going with this.
I absolutely
The
do.
Wizard of Oz and going, the scarecrow just got hit by a fireball from the witch and didn't burst instantly into flame. He's just dancing around going, ooh, ooh, ooh. That doesn't seem very realistic for dry straw. It's like, wait, you bought every premise up until this point, and that's what throws you?
The tornado bringing you to a new dimension. The witch. The Tin Man being alive. The Straw Man being alive. Literally everything in it. But the Straw Man would burst into flames.
It's like, and this is where you call BS.
So,
alrighty then.
So,
same kind of thing. I won't say that it was your mother, and I love her, and I would never point out that she.
And I won't say it was my mother either, and I also won't show this to her later.
Oh, she will. Yes, I called you a she. It's 2019. You could change.
Okay. And our ratings go through the roof because murder.
Yes. Did you see the live stream on Facebook of Gory Storytime? They started murdering each other. So the people on Rotten Tomatoes, on average, have it at 31% positive reviews.
Yes.
What do the people
the critics
officially are supposed to criticize films have it at?
They have it at 70%.
Which makes more sense than 31, but it's weird because with horror movies, it usually goes the other way. It usually gets a lower amount.
And it's not like there was some political statement in this.
Not at all.
I mean, don't breastfeed in public? But that would be
now,
a
the only
weird
political statement I
making.
could possibly see is about the whole midwife thing and not trusting the hospital.
Yeah, but even then...
That's like the only... I'm saying that's the only thing I could really think of. But to be fair to her, that was her old lesbian girlfriend.
So you have to,
take that into consideration.
Put trust into her.
She says, look, if I'm going to have someone down there when a baby comes out, it might as well be someone that's seen it before.
Right. So, what was your favorite scene?
What was my favorite scene? Or do you want to do least or most first? Because we switch that up sometimes. It doesn't really matter.
It's really tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll do my favorite, I guess. That's the one you said. Probably my favorite scene. The mother-in-law at the end trying to escape and such. I'm not going to give away too much. We've already given away some spoilery stuff, but just the cat and mouse kind of thing with the mother-in-law trying to get away.
No. Okay. My favorite scene probably...
It had some good tension.
Yeah. My favorite scene was probably, and this is super messed up of me to say, but basically all of the problems she's having with her birth, I think those scenes are really great because it brings a bunch of tension. Because, I mean, it doesn't bring a lot of tension because you know going into it that the movie's about a baby that dies. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not that bad, but, like,
No,
or
you mean
does it?
dies?
Right. So, I loved it. And then when she's sitting there sobbing in the tub filled with her blood,
Yeah, there was definitely excessive blood in every
wills,
scene where there was blood.
She wills the child back to life.
She loves it to life.
No, she cries it to life.
Yeah, but she's holding and hugging and loving, and it's not like she says, "Now I wish upon a star," you know.
Well, and then the lady, the midwife, watching it happen, says, "You can't just will a child back to life." And then all of a sudden,
No, she leaves the room
and watches
and
on a monitor.
Well, no, when she comes back, she's like, that's when she's like, "Wait, the baby's alive?"
Right.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
All right. My least favorite scene would have to be the final scene.
Okay.
The special effects, I'm not even going to say what you see. You see a new issue that's arisen in the raising of this child.
Which, by the way, Adam, if you're watching this, I know you're not. If you're watching this,
He's a producer, not a
you
writer.
produce another one of these.
Yeah, like
Okay? You produce another one of these. Okay? Thank you. So you
anyway.
were saying.
Well, you should probably say that to the director and everything too. But anyway, so the end scene, the special effects weren't great for the final thing you see that reveals a new set of issues with raising this child. And you know exactly what I mean.
I do.
It's literally the last scene, so I don't want to say exactly what it is because we warn about spoilers, but people should watch this.
They absolutely should.
But it looks like someone did really bad Photoshop.
Yes.
The budget was probably pretty low for this movie, you know?
And that was probably one of the last things that they showed, like that they did. Realistically, that's probably one of the last things that they did. So they might have been running low anyways.
It just...
Because with all of the other effects that they had.
I think that they could have done it with practical effects cheaper and it would have looked more real.
Like they did in Hatchet.
Yeah.
Because the practical effects in that were
Actually true.
amazing.
I get that. And just as bloody.
Just as...
All right. So on a scale of 1 to...
No.
What?
My least favorite.
Oh, yeah.
My least favorite, not because I hated the scene, but because I hated the person in the scene. The mother-in-law walks in to the mom who's sobbing on her bed, looks on the bed and sees a tie and says,
No. It was her husband. She was looking on the bed.
"Oh, yeah."
She was in an
was
empty
nobody
room,
there,
calls her husband in.
And, yeah, she calls her husband in and looks onto this... In
Perfectly
this
spotless
perfectly
room.
spotless room, there's a tie on the bed, and she says, "What is this? A pigsty?" And I lost it. I started laughing hysterically, and I hate her.
She was serious.
I hate her. She was 100% serious that it was a pigsty because someone left a tie on the bed.
And she yelled at her husband to pick it up, and even he just looked at her like,
Excuse me?
"You are an awful, awful person."
Right.
Like, you could see it wash over his face, like, how have we raised a son to adulthood who's now passed on, but, we have a grandchild on the way, and I've been with you this long and didn't realize how awful you are. Like, you could see it on his face, like, "Oh my God, I had no idea.
Yes.
This is why all of my friends stopped being that."
Yeah, actually. So,
All right.
yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm going to have to give it an 8.
An 8.
An 8.
Yeah, I'll go with an 8.
Okay.
I'll go with an 8.
Uh,
I mean, with a higher budget, a little better special effects, it could be better. But
and a sequel.
yeah, well. All right, and we're running a little long.
So, on that side of the screen, you can watch us on factdate.com. You can watch this show, Fact TV Channel 8, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can email us at gorystorytime@yahoo.com, which I can't log into because Yahoo sucks
Yes. You can like us on Facebook.
You can like Fact TV on Facebook, and if you have, you might be streaming this now. And if so, hi.
And you can go to factdate.com and watch a bunch of back episodes. You can watch us sit down and make fun of, what was the movie we just talked about? Wizard of Oz. You can watch us do that.
Sort of. Like, if we watched this.
No, I'm saying if they
Oh, you
go to the
talk
website
about, yeah, well,
and
no,
look
no,
for
no.
that.
That's not, I don't think they have.
No?
It
Whatever,
might-
don't
It
believe
might
me.
still be. I don't know.
I
I don't know
yeah,
if they posted
you
the
can
whole thing. But you can check us
follow
out
us
on
Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
I'm at Jason T. Jakes, capital J, capital T, capital J.
I'm at Craig Jakes, all lowercase, all one word.
And that's really it. We don't talk about the show.
You can go to my YouTube. It's just look for Juggalo Jakes. There's music videos and episodes and blah, 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 blah. Yada, yada.
So until next time, I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig,
And sweet dreams.